Hello everybody. In this lesson we will do some graph interpretation, a practice example. Question 1. The graphs of f of x is equal to x squared minus 4, that's the parabola, and g of x is equal to minus x plus 2, that's the straight line, are sketched below. A and B are the x-intercepts of f. C and D are the y-intercepts of f and g respectively. K is a point on G such that BK is parallel to the y-axis. F and G intersect at A and E. Now let's look at the first question. Number 1. Write down the coordinates of C. Now remember, C is the y-intercept of the parabola. And when you go to the equation of the parabola, and that one is f of x is equal to x squared minus 4, can you remember there at negative 4 that is Q's value? So C is the y-intercept of the parabola, but it is also the y of the turning point. So therefore, the coordinate of C is the point 0, negative 4. The 0 is because it's the y-intercept and negative 4 is because it's the turning point. Question 2. Write down the coordinates of D. Now what is happening at D? D is the y-intercept of the straight line. And can you remember when you go to g of x here, the general formula for straight line is y is mx plus c. C is this plus 2. So and that one means it's the y-intercept. Therefore, the coordinates of D will be the point 0 and 2. Why 0? Because it's y-intercept and the rule is y-intercept make x 0. Question 3. Determine the length of CD. Now, do you agree that there at D the y is 2? So that implies that this distance OD is 2 units. And then there at C the y is negative 4. But that means that this distance is plus 4 because distance is always positive. So the length of CD consists of DO plus OC. So therefore we can say CD is 2 plus 4 is equal to 6 units. Next question. Calculate the coordinates of B. Now what is happening there at B? Do you agree? B is the x-intercept of the parabola. And there's a rule that says x-intercept make y 0. So you jot down the equation of the parabola. Now where's y? Y is f of x. Y is x squared minus 4. We make y 0 and we end with 0 is equal to x squared minus 4. And then that one we can factorize and it becomes x minus 2, x plus 2. Therefore, x is 2 or x is negative 2. So when you go to your sketch, there at A, that will be 2. And at B, because it's on the left of the y-axis, that one is negative 2. But what's the question? Calculate the coordinate of B. So therefore, B's coordinate is the point negative 2 and 0. Question 5. Determine the coordinates of E. Now what is happening there at E? Do you agree that's the place where the two graphs intersect? And when you want to deal with that, you have to do simultaneous equations. So we can start by saying that the parabola is y is equal to x squared minus 4, and the straight line is y is equal to minus x plus 2. And then this one is equal to y, and that one is equal to y. So we can equate them and say x squared minus 4 is equal to minus x plus 2. And then I will get that in standard form. In other words, the minus x and the plus 2 will walk across. And then I will add negative 6 and negative 2. I mean negative 4 and negative 2 is negative 6. So that one is in standard form now. And it's in a proper descending order. X squared plus x minus 6 is equal to 0. And you need that because you want to factorize. And you can only factorize if your equation is in descending order. So now that one factorized is x plus 3, x minus 2 equals 0. And we have x is minus 3 or x is 2. Now let's go back to the sketch. There at A, we know this is the point 2. And then there at E, the x will be negative, so negative 3. So we will only deal with that one since they only wanted us to give the coordinate of E. So we know the x there is negative 3. So then to get the corresponding y, you can either substitute the x is minus 3 into the parabola or into the straight line. I chose the straight line. Substitute x is negative 3 in g of x. Therefore, g of x is the line is equal to minus x plus 2 in x's place negative 3, since every x has a corresponding y value. And then minus times minus 3 is plus 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. So the y is 5. Therefore, the coordinate at E is the point minus 3 and 5. The next question says, for which values of x will f of x be smaller than g of x? So what does that mean? This means where will the parabola lie below the straight line? Now when you go to your sketch, it's very clear that there at E, which is the point negative 3. So at E, and if you look at the sketch, you can see from negative 3 up to 2, the parabola lies under the line. So the parabola lies below the line. So to write that, we say it's from minus 3 up to 2. And why the round bracket? Since there's no equal sign. It's only smaller than. The next question says, for which values of x will f of x times g of x be greater or equal to 0? Now what does that mean? Greater than 0 means positive. And do you agree we have a rule in maths where we say a plus times a plus is a plus. So that means where will both graphs be positive? Now, if you look at the sketch, there at B, this is the point negative 2. So coming from negative infinity right up to negative 2, both your graphs are positive. So this is why part of your answer is from negative infinity up to negative 2. But if you have a look at your sketch, just after negative 2, the parabola is negative and the straight line is positive. And then there's also this little union sign, and then there's just 2. 2 you find exactly there at point A, and this caters for this greater and equal to 0, because there at A the two graphs are exactly 0. The last question says, calculate the length of AK. Now, when you go to the sketch, you find, remember from the words we had, that BK is parallel to the y-axis. And since it's parallel to the y-axis, it's perpendicular to the x-axis. So, in fact, we have a right angle triangle, KBA. And in your right angle triangle, AK is the hypotenuse. So we will use the theorem of Pythagoras to work out the length of AK. Now let's see. We need the length of KB. And unfortunately, we only know that the x coordinate at B is -2. So what we do is we will substitute in the straight lines equation in x's place. We will substitute -2 to find the corresponding y value there. So we will say the y coordinate at K, there's the straight lines equation. The x there is -2. So in x's place we substitute -2. And then -2 times -2 is +2. 2 plus 2 is 4. So y is equal to 4. So that means that this little distance there, this distance will be 4. And then BA's length, do you agree? If this there at B, the coordinate is -2, it means the distance is +2. And we know OA's length is 2. So the length of AB is 2 plus 2 is 4. So now we have enough information to find the length of AK using the theorem of Pythagoras. And we can say hypotenuse squared, AK squared, is equal to AB squared plus KB squared. AB, 4 squared plus KB, 4 squared. 4 squared, 16 plus 16, 32. And then we don't want AK squared, we only want AK. So we take the square root of 32. Therefore, AK's length is 5,66. In the next lesson, we will do an exam question on graph interpretation or deductions from graphs. Click on the video in the left-hand corner to take you straight to the next lesson.